Now we have seen some functions in the previous two videos. We have seen string functions, we have seen number functions, we have seen date functions. Now let me show you one more type of function, but first let me do this. Select star from books. So as you can see, I have multiple categories and I have multiple retail prices. Now, some categories have multiple books in them. Now, if the question is asking to give the average of a computer book, so let me just show the category and the average. So select category, and the average of a computer book is an easy solution. So I'll say AVG and then retail from books. If I do it like this, it's going to give me the average of all my books, but I can just say where the category is equal to computer. And this is going to give me all of computer books, or basically just the average of all computer books. Now, what if I want the average of every single category in my table? Do I have to write them one by one? So fitness and then cooking and then family and so on, or just omit this? So if I take this out and try to run this, I'll get an error right away. I didn't get the error here, but I got the error right here. So it says you are trying to do the query without a group by. What is a group by? So a group by is a function that is going to help you in doing something like this. So if you're doing some kind of calculation and that calculation is based on some other column having a specific value, and then that value is going to be different between one entry to the second entry, then you will need a group by. So I want to group by, so I will group each computer book, and I'll group each cooking book, and I'll group each family or children book. So I'll basically be grouping by category. So I'll say group by category, and let's try to run this. Now see, I have all of my categories and I have the average retail prices for them. Now let me show you another example that is very useful. So this is useful in a case like this. Let me show you another case, and you'll feel that maybe the other case is going to be as useful as this, or maybe even more. So if I want to say, for each single order, how much did that customer pay? So I want you to show me all of the orders and the order total of those orders. Before we do this, let's look at the table that's containing those information. So describe order items. I have this information in this table because I have the order ID, and then I have the item ID, and then I have the quantity of each one of those items, and then I have the information on how much did that customer pay for this item. So if we want to calculate this information, I need to look at the order. So let's look, for example, at the first order. I will say, okay, for the first order, I have 3 items. So item number 1 costs, let's say, $10, and that customer ordered only 1 item because I got this from the quantity, so I have $10 on the side. But then item number 2 is like $20, and this customer ordered 2 items, so I'll have 20 times 2, and then I will add that to my $10. So I have to pay attention to the quantity and how much did that customer pay. So let me just write this query. So select, I want the order ID and I want the sum of that order. So select order ID, and then I will follow this by the sum of how much did that customer pay. So paid each, but then I have to pay attention to how many items that customer got from that specific item. So how many, what is the quantity actually of that specific item? So I will say quantity, and then all of this is going to be from order items, but let's just make it pretty in the display. So I'll call this order total. So if I just get a specific order, say where the order ID is 1001, it's not going to require a group by, because I only have one group. But if I don't and I just leave it like this, it's not gonna run without a group by. So from order items, then I'll say group by, and I have to say which column I'm grouping by, and it is order ID. Now if I run this, I will get all my orders along with all of my totals. Okay. Now you can do some more customization or more filtration on this. Remember, we had the filtration in our select clause to be the where clause. Now for our group by, it's not another where clause. It's a clause that's called the having clause. So the having clause is going to serve as your where clause, but for the group by portion of your query, because remember, you cannot have two where clauses in one query, and you cannot have your where clause after the group by function. When will we need that? So for example, if I say I want to get the order total for any order that has more than one item. Because if I have only one item, then the item price of that order is the order total. So I need to make sure that I have more than one item. So you have multiple ways of doing this. You can just go and check the quantity, and if it's more than one, you can do that. But then there is one thing that is going to help you with that, to count something that is going to repeat in your query. So if I go back in here, so if I have an order with 2 items, what is going to repeat in there? I will have more than one item ID. I will have, or more than one ISBN, or the quantity is going to be more than one, or paid each is going to be more than one. So let's just use the last one. So I will say having count, because remember, count is what's going to allow you to know how many items. You can say paid each is larger than 1. So this is one way you can do it. You can also say having quantity larger than 1, or any other way you can do it, but this is going to give me the orders, because paid each is going to have more than one, let's say, different item in this case. So if I have more than one different book, or let's say I have one book from one category, another book from another category, even if they are both from the same category but they are distinct books, I will have distinct prices, and then this is going to work. But so the main point of this is the having clause, which is going to serve as your filtration for your group by. Now, 2 common mistakes I have seen is replacing this with another where clause, or just putting a where clause like this. okay, which is not going to work because your where clause should be before your function. And the other common mistake is sometimes people mix up the group by and the order by. And these are totally different things. Order by is just to show you the data in a certain order. Group by is going to deal with each group of data as its um, as a separate group, let's say, and then will help you display all of those together in your output.